in honor of the National Immigrant Heritage Month, our theme of today is Our Story, Our History and Your Story. And we have invited several speakers to come here to share their stories and their personal story with us. And as you may know, Mayor Wu and the Mayor's Office of Immigrant Advancement are committed to build a better Boston in collaboration with the immigrant community. Mayor Wu has stated that Boston is a city built by immigrants and everyone benefits from their contribution. We recognize the vital role our immigrant family and community play in making our city more welcoming and vibrant. This afternoon, we will continue to highlight and celebrate the contribution of immigrants to both Boston and the United States. Today, several friends will share their story with us. And you may have noticed earlier there's a video we showed to you, a slideshow related to immigration or immigrants, highlighting how immigrants maintain their culture, heritage, while integrating their new life in the country. Those photographs were provided by the Boston Chinese Photography Association. And before we invite our speaker to come to share their story, I would like to invite several guests to say a few words to the group. And the first one I would like to invite is Gary Yu. He's the founder of the Boston Urban Forum. Let's welcome Gary.
Thank you, Darren. Hi, everyone. Thank you, our good friend. Come to here, support our Boston Urban Forum. We are starting the May 1st, so we just want to create the easier and friendly and equity and progressive the platform for our community. For not include the Asian community, for all community for that. So we ask for the cooperation with the Boston City Hall. We can use this place for each month, first day. We can do the conference for talking about interesting issue. Today is the third urban forum. Before first one is talking about the culture exchange between the Boston and another international city. Second one is talking about the Earth Day, about protect our the house, but our homeland. And June is the National Immigration Heritage Month. So we just talking about the immigration history. Yeah, because we are come to the United States, we are the immigration. So thank you everyone joining us for share your own story for today. Okay, we enjoy that. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you, Gary. All right, I would like to invite the second guest to come to the stage. Mr. William Billy Torren. He is the candidate for South Middlesex County Register of Deeds. Thank you.
How you doing? Thank you. I came, it was 4th of July, so I came dressed for the 4th of July, but now we got a rainstorm outside. To celebrate National Immigrant Heritage Month, you know, this country's made of immigrants. I'm a product of immigrants. When my mother and father immigrated from Italy, they came here, they took assimilation classes, they got jobs. My father joined the U.S. Army. He told me the saddest day he had to do is when he joined the U.S. Army, he had to go back to Italy and fight his own people. But that's what he had to do. He was an American soldier now. When he came back from Italy, from the Army, he came here to Boston, in Cambridge, Massachusetts. He opened up a business. He settled down, had a family. He had 5 boys. I'm number 4, better looking one. and you know, everything. We just all grew up as a tight family. Myself, my wife is Brazilian. My 2 kids from my prior marriage are Italian. I have 9 grandchildren. I have an Italian. My daughter's Italian. She married an Indian, so I have a beautiful granddaughter and grandson who are both half Indian, half Italian. My son, he's engaged and he's married now. He married, his girlfriend is African American. He has 2 beautiful children with him, a boy and a girl, plus he adopted 3 more kids of hers. My wife's side has a son who's Brazilian, and I have a beautiful step-Brazilian son and a step-Brazilian grandson. I have Chinese nieces, Chinese nephews. I have 2 Japanese niece and Japanese nephew. So immigration, if you look it up in the dictionary, you can see my picture waving at you. But, you know, it's the heritage is strong, especially here in Boston. And to come here to celebrate Chinese American Association of, I see Lexington over here too, it's a fine thing, because that's where everything began. When people came from other countries, they would go to New York and Boston would be their other stepping stone. They start their families here, create lives, create memories, and it's the greatest place on earth. So with that being said, everybody have a happy 4th of July, and thank you.
Thank you, William. The next speaker I would like to invite to come up here is Tesia Cil.
Yes.
She is the candidate for Governor's Council District 2.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank Gary Yu for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to celebrate National Immigrant Heritage Month. Excuse me. I was born and raised in Boston. I worked for the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office, which is around the corner, and I also worked for Massachusetts Probation Services, where you know, I help people in the community to get back into the community safely after committing a crime. But I am a first Haitian American generation who was raised in the city of Boston. I was the first in my family to graduate from college. I got a master's degree from criminal justice and leadership from Northeastern University. And we all know that when our parents come into this country, and those who are coming now, we want to make a great impact for the next generation. My parents came, worked two or three jobs, just to give me and my siblings the best education. And it is wonderful to see you all here, because we all have the same goal. Boston is a melting pot. We have Ruthie Lugine, which is the Haitian American first woman of color city councilor at large. And we have our first woman of color mayor, Mayor Wu, who's doing wonderful work in the city of Boston as well. And these are the examples that we have, that when we come into this country, that we inspire our children, we inspire ourselves to do the best that we can do, so that we could be part of this community and be able to build it together and be able to be in leadership positions that will help us to grow together and make an impact in everyone's life, regardless where you're from. As stated, I'm running for Governor's Council, which is in District 2. Now, that's not in the city of Boston. I live in Stoughton, Massachusetts, and that's considering the South Shore, Middlesex, Plymouth area, and Norfolk County area, which is in Sharon, Avon, Canton. Those areas are the areas that I'm representing. But we all contribute into these towns some way and somehow. Governor's Council nominates judges, and I cannot tell you how many times I meet people in the courthouse that needs assistance with interpreting. When you go before the judge, you want to know exactly what your rights are. You need an interpreter. These are the things that we want to make sure as candidates running for office, to make sure that they're available for people like you and for people like me, who English is not the first language. So I'm running for governor's council to make an impact, not only to provide diverse judges, but to also to make sure that our rights are not impacted in any way. So I thank you all today for listening to me. Gary, I thank you as well. And if you know anyone in those areas that I mentioned, and you would like to support me in any way, definitely visit my website, www.temesiacivil.com. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have another speaker who's supposed to arrive soon? No, not yet. Okay. One last speaker. Her name is Anne Fong. She's the president of Boston Chinese Photography Association. She is also late, probably because of mass paid traffic. So since I'm also associated with the same organization with her, I'm the board member, so I could kind of talk it through for her. So as I mentioned, the slideshow you just saw was prepared by the Boston Chinese Photography Association. We have around 300 to 400 photographers, mainly Chinese photographers. The organization established around 2009, so it's been like almost 15, 20 years. We like to take pictures, and we like to also extend the photography to art appreciation. When we take pictures and focus on the beauty of our life, we find that not everything is so beautiful, and we would like to use our hobby to make the world better. So we started to offer photography service for the community. For all the events we go to, we offer free service to take pictures for them. We also organize events to go to senior center to take pictures for the elderly people, and a lot of other community service we organize. So for this particular slideshow, we support Gary's program, and then we ask for our 300 to 400 photographers to submit their picture related to Boston and related to immigrant and related to how they bring their culture from their country to Boston, and at the same time try to adjust to brand themselves into the new country. So later on, if we have time, we could share with you the three minutes video. If the other speaker is not arriving, maybe we could start the program and then we could invite the speaker later. All right, so I think we all come here to hear stories. So I have a list of speakers. I'm going to invite them one by one, come up here to tell their stories. First one, I would like to invite Professor Ho. Please come up here. And we have around 3 minutes to 5 minutes for you to share your story.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm Larry Ho. I've lived in Greater Boston area for 74 years. So it's probably longer than you've been alive before you were born. So I will tell you 3 short immigration stories that happened to me and my family in the 50s and 60s. Things were very different then. So here goes. The first story is I came here 1950, age 16. With only the promise of education in college, nothing else, no friends, no relatives. And so I started school here and was all set to go back to my home country, China, when I finished. But then that time, the so-called Iron Curtain already descended in Eastern Europe. And lots of the countries in Eastern Europe, Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, the Baltic states were all behind the Iron Curtain under Soviet communist control. And so a lot of people escaped the Iron Curtain, became refugees in the West. So the US Congress passed an act in 1953 called the Refugee Relief Act of 1953 to help these people to become resident, have your green card, and on the way to U.S. citizenship. Now, at that time, I was still a student. My home country, mainland China, was also overrun by communists. And I said, since you didn't say this law was passed only for U.S. citizens, no, for East Europeans, shouldn't I qualify? Because my home country, I can't return anymore. So the immigration office thought about it, said, okay, yes, you can apply. So I applied and was approved for the green card, the resident of the United States in 55, and got officially my card, the so-called the green card, in 1956. So that's how I managed to stay on in this country, become a legal resident, and being able to be employed to earn money. And this leads to my second encounter. 1958, I came back to graduate school because I always wanted to, after working 4 years, and save some money. But once you became a resident, you have certain rights, but you also have certain obligations. At that time, obligation for military service. You have to register for draft, and you can be picked. And in 1958, when I was in graduate school, I was picked. I had my physical, total report to the Army for service. Now, at that time, there was no hot war going on. So I would probably, even though I'd be servicing the Army, I wouldn't be involved in actual combat situation. But those 4 years were probably the most productive period of my career. And if I had served in the Army, I wouldn't be able to do those works. But something came to my rescue. In 1958, the Soviets set up the first space satellite in human history. And the U.S. attempt to catch up, crashed and burned on a launching pad. And the whole country was in a panic. We are losing space race and so forth. And my draft was, at that time, the infinite wisdom, said, hey, you're studying aerospace engineering. The Army can do without you. We need you back in the aerospace business. So literally plugged me out of the Army, sent me back to study. Now, and those 4 years, I was able to do a lot of creative work, and probably the best work in my life, in my research career. So even 70 years later, some of the work I've done there are still being referenced every week. I can notice somebody wrote a paper just referenced your work that long ago. So that worked out to be sort of a win-win situation, both for myself and for the country. It finally led me to my third story involving my family. I met my wife, who was sitting back there, 1958. And we got married in 59 when she finished her college. She also came here as a teenager to study. At that time, the law says, if you're a foreign student, you're allowed to stay for 18 more months after you graduate from college for practical training. So that'll be end of 1960. But I wasn't due to become actually a U.S. citizen until 1961. And most people really thought at the time it was a mistaken belief, which took me 65 years to realize that if you marry the U.S. citizen, your immigration troubles are over. You are entitled to stay in this country. But most people didn't realize, and I did not, until about 65 years later, that President Biden last month declared an amnesty for 500,000 illegal residents who married the U.S. citizens are in this country. There was a little-known law that says, even though you marry a U.S. citizen, you are allowed to get your green card, be on your way to be citizen yourself. If you're illegal, you have to return to the country where you come from and wait there to get your green card. Now, for most people, this isn't too much of a problem. You go back for a few months, you come back again. But for Asians, particularly Chinese, there was still a remnant of a racial quota at that time, late 50s, early 60s. Only 105 persons of Chinese ethnicity, no matter where you come from this world, no matter what citizenship you have, only 105 such persons are allowed to be admitted to the United States. Most people don't know this. So once you go back to your country, stay in line, it could be decades before you're allowed back into it. But we didn't know that. And my wife her visa expired at the end of 1960. And I wasn't going to become citizen in the early years of 1961. So I said, look, if you have to go back, so much trouble, you're already pregnant, going to give birth to an American citizen, and only a couple of months, why don't you just stay on? And I just seems very innocent. But we didn't know that provision of the law, which is if you're illegal, even if you're married to an American citizen, you have to be sent back to your country of origin and wait there for your turn. Now, of course, we didn't know that. In 1961, when I became citizen, she went to the immigration office to try to get her green card and would be citizen. The immigration office got very upset. Says, you are illegal here, you overstayed your visa. And according to the law, you have to go back to China. And China was, of course, that type of it. Or Taiwan, that's where she comes from. But the waiting queue there could be decades because of the 105 total limit of immigration for Chinese. So our family will be separated for decades. Who knows what will happen? But the immigration officer, even though he was very unhappy, he took pity on us. He kindly took our stamp on the passport of my wife, just deported. He said, okay, I've done my job, you'll be deported. How you manage to come back to this country is a separate matter. I'm not going to worry about it. So that's why she was allowed to stay on, didn't have to be deported. Technically, she would be deported. And were allowed to apply for, when I became citizen in 1961, she's wife of a citizen, and also mother of our firstborn child at that time. So she has every right to stay, and we happily went on to live our American dream for the next 65 years. So let me just summarize this by a 3-word American phrase everybody knows. Only in America. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Hall. Bring back lots of memory from all the years. The next speaker I'd like to invite to come up here is Yuxi Tao. Yuxi Tao? Come in.
Hello everyone, my name is Ryan, and I'm going to tell you everything I've experienced through my years being an American citizen. I'm born an American, proud, but I've been lost. Because I've been born an American, I've been lost finding my own heritage and culture. There's so many other kids like me, and there's so many other kids like me, lost in finding their own culture. Immigrants that came here in the 1800s during the California Gold Rush brought a wave of different cultures and different activities and different things to Boston and different parts of America. I do dance, guzheng, and other Chinese activities just to show my heritage and my love for Chinese things. I want to express my thank you to all my heritage and Chinese things. I love to eat Chinese food, and I hope everyone eats Chinese food. It's like Chinese food. Life is like Chinese food. there's so many different flavors that everyone has to experience. Like boba, tanghulu. I bet no one knew these stuff a few years ago. But because people tried it, people knew it. So I want to let everyone know everything about the Chinese culture, everything about any culture. I do a lot of different things just to show everything. But there's a lot of cultures that are being lost to this day. I have nothing else to say, but thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
At least it makes me feel hungry. All right, the next speaker would like to invite Sunny Jang. Sunny. Thank you.
I have nothing to say.
Okay.
Okay, hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sunny Jang. My English is my second language, as I didn't speak in English for a very long time, so I try my best to present in English in order to make everyone can share my story with everyone. I was born in China, Shanghai, China, one of the biggest cities in China, and first time I immigrated to United States was to 1995, and at the moment when I landed on the Chicago airport, I was so surprised. So everyone from China must know at that time, 90s, China is a big difference from United States. Even the first time I went into the supermarket, I was so shocked because I never saw any store without any, we have some like this, and everyone there were the sailor, just you want something like that, you point that, and they will give you. But in supermarket, you can choose whatever you want. The first thing I think was anyone will steal something. Yeah, that's my worry. But after 1 year later, I went back to visit China. I saw supermarket was in China everywhere. So I spent about 8 years studying in the United States and got my master's degree in Boston University. And at that time, my father got cancer, so I decided to move back to China, stay with my family. So, but I was planning to maybe I can, get 1 or 2 years there, because I got a green card already, and I thought probably after 1 or 2 years of waiting, staying with my family, I came back. But yeah, I spent about 16 years here. During these 16 years, I stayed with my parents until my mother passed away at 2018. Fortunately, during these 16 years, I think it's the best 16-year period of China. The economic growth grows very fast. So I got this fortune, and I really can experience how China from a very, poor country. As my childhood, we need to got the tickets to buy the meat and buy the fish. Only one fish, you know that? Only one fish 1 year. You can imagine that. But after the 90s, about 20 or 30 years, China going to very fast, and the second, biggest the GDP country of this world. So when I decided to move back, it's because my son went to the school, so we moved here because he's the special needs kid. So here I can get different in biosystem, especially for the special education programming. So I'm so appreciate this country can provide the equality for everyone for disability. Kids, they can get the same equal education opportunity to stay in the school. I think what we should do is we can give more, this kind of information to China when we are here. Especially most Chinese people, they don't know what's going on here, and they probably got many wrong information. As an immigrant, as a Chinese American, I'm more like, these two countries can always be friends. And also, there's a big country in this world, and also we can, keep this world is better and better. And more Chinese smart people, like now we know the number one, company, biggest company is in India, is the founder is Chinese. So many are Chinese American here and contribute to this country. And many of us like to be a bridge between two countries and different kind of cultures. And last minute, I will say me, Elizabeth, and Gary, and other people here will host our international original IP, Chinese IP International Movie Festival in this September. So I will like to invite everyone to join us and promote for us to let more people know, and we'd like to try our best to share our Chinese culture to more and more people. Thank you.
The next speaker, Elizabeth Xu.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just feel so happy that I can share my story here. Well, my story is actually, I'm going to share a story of my nephew. It's just last year in June, one day my brother called me. He said, "Do you have time to join Kevin's graduation ceremony on Friday?" Kevin is my nephew, and he's a student in Westboro Public School. I just feel surprised because my brother just told me that Kevin is actually the graduation ceremony is going to be held on Saturday, and Kevin is she felt so sad because there is competition. That's the mass pole vault final. That's going to be held on the same day, so he will either miss the once in a lifetime event or he has to quit the competition. But WHS gave him a special ceremony. And his special one-person graduation ceremony held smoothly on Friday, that's June 3rd, 2023. Over 100 kids attended the ceremony, including Kevin's teammates and classmates. The principal had given a speech and handed the diploma to Kevin, just like the normal graduation ceremony. So this is actually the first time I know that a public school is going to care kids to such extent, even with ordinary kids. So I interviewed Dr. Roger Anderson, Mr. Roger Anderson. He is both Kevin's coach and also initiator of this event. And from him, I learned that this is not the first time Westboro Public School give the special graduation ceremony to students. I think there's one ceremony, they have 11 students who receive the special treatment. So I just asked Anderson, I think, is it just because they are special kids? You know, either they are popular kids or they have competitions. Anderson said, well, Kevin is popular in the school, and he does represent our school for the competition. But even if he's just ordinary students, like we have a girl who never won any medals in the field and track and field team, but we still will give him the same treatment. So I just feel, oh my gosh, this is just like, I just think, before I interview Dr. Anderson, I was thinking, well, I just want to talk to somebody who can give a special treatment to Asian, second generation of Asian immigrants under the special condition with the anti-Asian crime after the pandemics. But when I talked with Anderson, I realized he didn't even think about Kevin as a second generation immigrant, nor even an immigrant. He just thinks he's just ordinary students. So I just, oh my gosh, if only I can met Dr. Anderson 20 years ago, or even I just participate in the community activities 20 years ago, I would be much better person than today. And I actually started to participate in the community events after the pandemic. Before that, I was just like most of the first generation immigrants. I only care about my grades, my job, and my kids. And I just think, oh, I don't have time to do anything else except for making a good living. But after the pandemic, I started to join the different events of our community, like a CAUS event. I started to volunteer in our Council of Arts in Lexington and other organizations, and I find out this is just like a new world to me. And I actually learned a lot. I always thought I'm an inner person, but today I can just speak here, and I can organize events. I can do a lot of things and contribute to the community. And I would think, no matter whether you're a first generation immigrant or second generation, just talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, and join, but do whatever you can do for the community. Thank you.
Thank you. What a wonderful story. Like that reminds me a TV show I watched yesterday. They say law or rules are like donuts that has a hole inside. That law has a hole, rule has a hole because it's meant for discretion. All right, the next speaker I would like to invite is Li Wu.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Li Wu. I was told by the organizers I can speak in Chinese, so I just prepare in Chinese. Otherwise, it take me so long. Okay, sorry about someone cannot understand Chinese. I think it can be more express. 大家好，我叫武丽英目前居住在那个莱镇。我在美国生活了33年，我的家乡是广东台山，也是中国非常著名的华侨之乡，所以从小有一个移民梦。我大概在1991年留学到纽约攻读硕士学位，2年后拿到生物硕士后，就到波士顿的哈佛医学院附属医院 Brigham and Women's Hospital 工作。大概3年半，我换了一份工作，到剑桥的 Genetics Institute 做生物研究。然后呢，这家公司被辉瑞在Wise 和辉瑞收购并合并，但我在那里一直工作到2011年左右离职。后来我自己呢创立了一个美东教育服务公司，专门帮助学生学术辅导与升学。其中我曾经在驻过 Brooklyn、Austin、Somerville，然后一直到02年的时候，为了孩子在好学区读书，搬到了 Lexington，目前也有22年了。除了我的正式的工作，我花了不少时间在我的社区服务上，所以我主要今天重点分享我所做的这个义工的一些经历。自从搬到莱镇，很快就参与在本地有名这莱镇华协举办的活动，然后逐渐就参加一些筹备现场义工的工作。我在华协20年，见证了莱镇华协的发展壮大。我也一直是华协社区委员会的骨干，然后专门负责各种活动的义工招募和管理工作，很多大型的活动都参与了筹备工作与这个义工招聘管理工作。比如今年我是这个华协春晚的总策划之一。我在华协的另外一个工作呢，是与其他几位社区服务委员会的主席一起监管与指导目前大概17个青少年项目，所以我忙得不亦乐乎的，也可能是职业病的作祟，因为我觉得学生们不能单纯只顾学习，也应该参与各种社区活动以及组织活动，培养这个社会责任心与职场上应有的各种能力，比如领导力沟通能力与团队合作能力等等。比如我们有一个非常好的例子，可能大家也会知道，就是去年好入哈佛的EP3丨，就是比较好的一个例子。他曾经参加很多的这种市区的活动，比如帮助波士顿市长梅舍伍的助选他自己策划一个大型慈善音乐会，以及参加学校有关的亚裔美国人历史课程的增设。昨天我刚刚从那个美国华人联合大会回来，然后我们 Lexington 的总监 Jodie Chen也参加了这个会议，而且在青少年圆桌会议上专门还表扬了他和这个项目。我多年参加这个义工活动，也形成了一种习惯，也变成我生活的一部分。我曾经也参加很多其他的这个义工，比如我曾经是莱镇旅游委员会的委员还在别的盈利机构任职，比如敦煌文化服务公司，之前是 board member 在罗德岛，但去年我就说扩大到麻州，我目前也是这个主席。然后Newton 中文学校的家长会天使舞蹈团，还有曾经 New England 华人联盟等。然后这次也是代表华协，也带领这个青少年，很快完了就是说他们就我们这个 Youth Team 在大会上面也帮了好多忙，也反正就是说他们表现得非常好。我心里就是说最高兴的一点就是能够带领青少年，然后通过社区服务，然后看到他们成长，这是我生活就很开心的一件事。所以再次感谢大家来听，和感谢这个主办方给我的这个机会，谢谢。
Thank you, Lin, for a good story about helping all the kids. I see that we have our special guest arrive, Yesman PMI Fobes. I would like to invite you to come here to say a few words to the crowd. Yesman is the executive director of the Commonwealth and Massachusetts Asian American and Pacific Island Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and I'd like to thank Commissioner Gary Yu and NECAA for inviting me. It's a real honor to be here. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Commission. So the Asian American and Pacific Islander Commission is a commission that's set up by the state government, and we are set up to look after the needs and the issues faced by AAPI across Massachusetts. So we work with all communities obviously with the Chinese and the Indians and the Vietnamese, but also like with smaller communities such as the Burmese. We also have worked very closely with the Tongan community. So I'd like to talk to you also, since everyone has talked about personal stories, I'd like to talk about a little story on why I joined the commission and what I'm really passionate about. So during COVID times, as you know, we were all like shut away and, you know, stuck to our houses. And my mother had come from India a few months before to visit me. And then when COVID happened and all the borders were closed, so she couldn't go back to India. And she was, you know, continues. Luckily, she was staying with me at that time, so she wasn't in the middle of nowhere. And we were also really nervous about that because we were like, well, if she can't go back, when she is allowed to go back at a certain time, would she be considered deported or overstaying? And at that time, President Trump was leading the country, and there were all this information in the media about the borders being closed, immigration posts being closed. So everyone who was applying outside the country for green cards, you know, all those processes were stopped and they couldn't do it. But I was a commissioner, and I still am, in the Cambridge Human Rights Commission. And I was talking to people there about the situation of my mother, that, you know, I'm worried about that. And they were like, well, why don't you apply for her green card now in America? And I said, how is that possible? How can I apply for, she's come here as a tourist, how can I apply for her green card here? And you can see what Trump is saying everywhere, that, you know, no one can get a green card right now. They're stopping the process. And they were like, yeah, the process is stopped internationally, but not in the US. And so they helped me apply, and I started the process. And a year ago, she got her green card, you know. And after she got it, I was like, there are probably so many people out there who don't have this information, who don't really know how our government works, and who can really be helped to know the services that the government offers, services the city offers, you know, the state offers, but they don't have the language, they don't understand the complicated laws, do not understand, you know, like where to get the information, who to ask for, and that is why, that's one of the reasons, and the reason why I'm passionate about and joined the AAPI Commission, because I feel it's so important to share that information with our community, so people have that information, so they can make the right choices for themselves and the family. You know, because when you look around and you look at how much difference and amazing work immigrants have done in America through the past decades and past centuries. I mean, you see Chinatown, but then you also see Dorchester, you know, now with Cambridge and with all the innovation hub, you sort of see a lot of the innovation is brought by having diverse people with diverse experiences and minds come together and create something wonderful. And therefore it's so important to sort of have that pathway and sort of feel really proud of, you know, where we are, where we have come from, and to work together to help our community to really rise up together in this country. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yesman. And I found that another guest also arrived, and is the president of BCPA, Boston Chinese Photography Association. Maybe I already introduced the organization, but you could probably talk about this slide that you prepare, and we could show it to the. That's your one.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Mr. Yu. It's an honor. A couple of weeks ago, only 2 weeks ago, we got an invitation from Mr. Yu said, would BCPA, which is a Boston Chinese Photography Association be interested in joining this event, which is a wonderful event. Is the celebration of the immigrant the heritage. So I think it's a very good opportunity for us. We have about 300 members, so everyone is very active in the community service. So with that, people have been taking a lot of pictures, and we only have a week also to collect. And fortunately, a lot of participations. We got nearly about 200 photos. So within that call, and people are really submitting what they have, and really a lot of them are a part of their daily life. So I thought it's a good idea to put them together. Even not every single pictures have been in this. This is like a 3 minutes. We have this time limit. So we have 95 photos selected into this little clips. I'm sure Daryl have already shown everyone, but I thought it was a wonderful clips of our lives.
Try to play it.
Do you want to play it again?
Let's see how they do it.
As you can see, the breadth of the people's life here as immigrant and second generation, first generation, many generations, they have been participating not in preserving their own traditions and their own ethnicity, but also they joined either political life, social life, serving others, and make this community to be a better one. So when I saw these pictures, I'm actually very moved by the spirit of this whole. And we're one family in the one village, one country, and it was a very, very good experience putting these together. So I very much appreciate your invitation.
Hello. 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 Okay, it's back. All right, thank you, Anne. Put a lot of effort to prepare the slideshow. Let's continue to invite speaker. Next one on my list is Jodie Chen, Jodie Chen. No? She's not here? Okay, the next one is Chuan Fei Cui. Chuan Fei. Okay. Stephen. Stephen once. Stephen twice. Is it coming? No. Okay. All right, move on to Na Ying Wen Gran. No. Liang Tang. T-A-N-G Tang. Tang Liang. Okay, must be the rain. Stop them coming. Jackie Liu. Jackie. All right, Anson Sun. Anson. Okay. Great, thank you.
Hi everyone. My name is Sun Zhengjun, and you can call me Anson, A-N-S-O-N. And I come to Boston, America in 2022, 2 years ago. And I had just finished my master's degree in computer science in Northeastern University. And well, I want to say I like this city because this city gave me the life I want. So why I say this? Because I can do the things that I like and try something new. So what are the things that I like? For example, I like to play frisbee, ultimate frisbee, and I set up an organization, and I got 100 people in it. Yeah, we usually play in MIT Briggs Field. I also like singing songs, the opera type. I got stage and platform to perform, such as Harvard and well, Asian America platform like this. What's more, I can also try something new that I had never tried in China before. For example, the Dragon Boat Festival. Yeah, well, I saw many people playing Dragon Boat Festival in China, but in Boston, well, I'm a paddler. I get on the boat and be a competitor in it. So it's a really interesting memory. Well, another thing is that I can do some volunteering work to realize my value. I'm a volunteering music teacher in the Xinxin Art School in Quincy. Yeah, I set up a choir and I'm a teacher in it. So now I want to sing a song for everyone. Quando sono sola signolo le son mai alle parole. Si lo si con un cielo una stanza quanto me dai sole. Se non ci sei tu come su le finestre mostra tutti il mio cuore che hai anche su io dentro me la luce che hai incontrato per strada. Con te partirò. Sì, e non ho mai veduto e visto te con te. Adesso si vivrò con te. come, come allora tu segui con me, io sale tu segui con me, come, come, con me. Con te partirò a esti, ai non ho mai, ai no devi stare con me, ai adesso si vierò con te, partirò. Suonavi per morire, e io lo so, no, 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 esistono mio, con te io dividerò, con te morirò. Suonavi per morire, e io lo so, no, 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 esistono mio, con te io dividerò, con te morirò. Io non so.
Hi guys, so here's my speech. I still remember the first day I arrived in Boston after an exhausting 20 hours flight. I had 3 huge suitcases with me and a heart that was screaming, "Oh my God, Boston, I'm here!" As freshman year of college began, I drowned myself in unfamiliar ideologies, distinct cultural norms, and crazy experiences. I felt myself drifting further and further away from the place I had spent the past 18 years of my life. When I started my second major in photography during my sophomore year, I found myself inspired by Man Ray, Cindy Sherman, and other American greats. Everything seemed perfectly fine, and my life in China started to feel like a distant past, almost as if it were from another lifetime. However, in my junior year during an intermediate photography course, one of my classmates based his entire project on his Mexican queer identity. I was intrigued and stunned. In our final class, as he passionately explained the significance of the paliacate and the flavors of churritos, showing his works taken with Mexican people on Mexican land, I saw a bright spark in his eyes, a profound pride in his identity and cultural heritage. That spark was so bright that it blinded my sight. In that vast whiteness, for the first time, I asked myself, where is the pride of China in me? Why has that part been completely erased in all my photography works? The winter after that semester, I went back to Beijing, China. With my film camera in hand, I strolled along the hutongs that could be hundreds of years old. My heart raced, and I gasped like never before at the cracks in the bricks, the dapple light filtering through the trees onto the door frames, and these old men lazily fanning themselves at their doorsteps. These scenes, which I have never paid much attention to before, now moved me to tears with their beauty. So strangely enough, after 3 years of enjoying my life in America, somehow I began to see beauty in my own hometown. I realized that where I came from is just as important and valuable as where I am going. My childhood, family history, and cultural heritage remain an inseparable part of me, a foundation upon which my new identity stands. So this photography project of mine, which are those like 3 black and white photos, like in the frames on the table, it's called Fragmented into Wholeness. So it's both a love letter to myself and to those who have shaped me. By projecting old family photos onto my own body parts, I trace back and connect with my own origins, showing how they are imprinted on my skin, flow through my veins, and in my heart that's beating. Those precious memories, even the ones I might not consciously remember, are shared through my body, which has the same beautiful brown eyes, yellow skin, and dark hair that as the rest of my own community. Now, whenever I land at Boston Logan Airport, I hear the voice of Mayor Wu welcoming me back to Boston. I know when she says Boston welcomes everyone, she means it. I see more and more people who cherish their cultural heritage, are eager to share with others, and are open-minded in celebrating in this rich tapestry of cultures we encounter in this city. In the end, every one of us is so similar, yet beautifully unique. My name is Pangel. Thank you.
Now we just find a great photographer. If you're interested in the Photography Association, talk to the president. All right, so we have found some speaker who arrived now. The next one is Jodie Chen. Jodie Chen.
Hello, my name is Jodie Chen. I'm a rising senior at Buckingham Brown & Nichols, and I'm going to be completely honest. When they first asked me to share my immigration story, I said no. And when they asked me again, I said no. Because I'm not an immigrant. Both my parents are, so I'm a second-generation Chinese-American immigrant. Both my parents came here from China looking to further their education in the United States, as I'm sure many of you guys all shared. So growing up, I've had a different experience. I know a lot of second-generation Chinese Americans are very similar to me in that we have a weird culture gap where we're expected to grow up and learn English, as it was more difficult for our parents to do so as adults, but we also lose some sort of cultural connection. For example, I don't have the best Chinese, and it is kind of embarrassing at family gatherings when you don't understand everything other people are saying. But it's a weird gap you have to try to fill, and it's not exactly always possible. So growing up, I was really lucky that I was really involved in the Chinese American community since my childhood, and always like going to different events about my culture and learning a lot more than I would have learned. Yes, my parents dragged me to Sunday Chinese school when I was younger to make sure I learned some Chinese. And yes, I did hate it. And I quit in 5th grade or so. But I'm thankful that I went, and I often wish I stayed longer so my Chinese would be better. But here I am. And yeah, if you might know me because I run a youth program in Cal called the Never Fitting Poppy Project. And there we send handmade cards to veterans. And you might wonder, what does veterans have to do with immigration? Well, without veterans who fought for America's freedom and everything America stands for, my parents wouldn't be here. I would not be born. All the immigrants that we have in this room would not be here and possibly would not exist like me. So in the project that I run, we are so grateful to our veterans, not just because we are thankful for America's independence, but also because a large majority of us, as we are under the Chinese American Association of Lexington, are Chinese and are immigrants or children of immigrants or grandchildren of immigrants. And a lot of us wouldn't be here. So yes, that's my story as child of 2 immigrants. And I'm really grateful for the life I have in the United States and for the veterans who allowed me to be here. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jodie. Right. The next speaker will be Naiying Wei Yuan.
Thank you. I'm not planned to do the speech, but come to this crowd, I feel so appreciate. And first I want to say, I saw this gentleman, maybe it was 2007. That was the Yes Club. My son went to the college, it was 2008. And the Yes Club, the program really made my son open eye and doing things. So really appreciate. And also feel never changed. So good. And another is the Yu Guoliang. I think I saw you maybe 10 years ago, was in some event I joined. Then he just come to me, say, do you have WeChat? I say, yeah. Then say, yes, scan my name. So then he become my friend circle, but I never see in the person. Never, after that, not see the person. But today I see, wow, you look so great too. So really nice. Yeah. Okay, talk to my own story. I'm immigrated in 19, not come here, for business trip. I was a leader for 5 people and for equipment type business for my company in Shanghai. I come from Shanghai. I grew up in Shanghai, born in Shanghai. So that time had a very good experience. I first stop was in San Diego, and the sky was so good, water was so good, and because the company has some agent come with us, visit a place and stay in the 4-star hotel and eat, so great. That was 1996. So come home, I just feel, wow, the time versus Shanghai versus USA, especially in San Diego, that time was big difference. So I feel, wow, America is so good. But that was business trip. I did not think about. So 1990, I think it was 1997 that around February, my son has asthma. And he had multiple issues. One time was hospitalized. And the doctor told me the reason because triggered your son's asthma because the pollution in Shanghai at that time. So if this boy go to the place, the air good, water good, he should be fine. We are not triggered asthma. So that was the motivation. Then was I think it was March. And for me, in my life, I'm not a serious person at all. I just like a type of playing type. So I just say, yeah, I maybe can apply visa for visitor visa. And that time, my colleague said, Naiying, you think you can get a visa? I said, okay, I just try. Just pay the fees, really not a big deal. So that time I was in the high leader in the company type thing. So I just go there and immigration officer saying, what your purpose? I say, yeah, I have two months vacation. I want to visit, go to the USA to do the travel. Then say, are you sure? Just for vacation? I say, yeah. So say, you got visa. That was 1997. So I got a visa. So I get back. Then the things, life is dynamic. That's I really feel. So get home and think, 2 months, maybe you need to take 6 months off. Maybe you can get some certificate or get some English. Oh, yeah, by the way, my English is terrible. My elementary school and middle school, high school, it was learn the Russian language, not English. So only the university time had once a week, 15 minutes for English. So I count that as like the English terrible. After 14 years working in Shanghai, English is totally forget. So get here, I started the English as second language. And that time was start from A, B, C, D, start with. So start with in the Northeastern University, and one time I was in the line, buy something, then the teacher come to me, how are you doing? I was thinking, how I'm doing, what I'm doing. So I really confused, what's that? Just saying my English background is so bad. Okay, fast forward. After that, I got the passed that exam, then got a degree, then got the computer science master program. Before I finished my master degree, I got a job at Lucent. Lucent that time was a big company, and actually the last 2 class was the Lucent paid my class to get I got my master degree. So I was in the software field and got a good job. So 3 years ago, I feel I got my time, got early retirement, so I quit job. Not quit, just decided to retire. So for now, looking for my past life, I really appreciate. And American give the fair opportunity to everyone. If you work hard, if you try hard, you will get what you want. And I really appreciate. And for now, I just try to do more volunteer job. So I do I live in Andover and do the senior center volunteer job. Also, I recently just voted as the board member for the Andover Community Trust for building affordable house at the organization. So I really appreciate and grateful for what I have now, and I really try to contribute to the society and to make everyone get more life and feel good for themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Lai. I couldn't say I recognize you when you say this, but what she referred to probably is like 18 years ago when I first found a young high school student entrepreneurship training program. Her son probably is the Yes 1.0 student. So good to hear that he's doing well. So we also have another speaker from Nanping Yaji, Jang, and he's going to come to share his story.
Hi. I actually didn't prepare to speak here, but I'm very proud to represent our group, people in the Big Boston area. We are a group of people who really love Chinese calligraphy. That's the reason we gather together to form this. Actually, we just applied a non-profit organization a few weeks ago. So for me, myself, my professional job is in biotechnology. So I came to US 28 years ago, 1996. So I came directly to New England, so I have been always in the Northeast area. So starting from my childhood, I really like a few Chinese traditional culture, art, culture things, especially calligraphy. So after I came to US, to study, to pursue my academic career, so I stopped doing that for many years, many years, just to learn the new culture, the new life here. But deep in my heart has always has a corner with the most traditional Chinese culture, traditional Chinese history, all those things. So about about 15 years ago, I started to have some time to go back to pick up those hobbies that has been with me in my heart from childhood. So I started to practice calligraphy again. So as maybe you don't know, maybe you know that I can say that Chinese calligraphy is the number one art that can really represent the Chinese people, Chinese scholar. So this is not only recognized by the Chinese people ourselves, but also by the Western people. They always think that Chinese calligraphy is the number one art that distinguishes Chinese people from other culture tradition. So it's we have an exhibition corner there. You can go have a look. Maybe you notice it's not only the calligraphy. We use the brush to write, and you can also see some Chinese painting, because in traditional Chinese culture, it is the poem, calligraphy, and painting is considered the three combined most elite art format for the Asian Chinese scholar that has been extended for over 2,000 years. So the name of our group is called Lanping Calligraphy Assembly. The Lanping in English is called Oki Pavilion. It's coming from a kind of a cultural event over 1,500 years ago in ancient China. A group of elite scholar, they assemble to have a cultural event. That they wrote poem, they practice calligraphy, and then that has become the symbol for Chinese culture. We call it Lanping. So we use that name to represent our team, our group. So although I said I came to the New England region, but I got my PhD in Connecticut, and then I stayed in the Northeast area in New York, New Jersey. But about 8 years ago, I came to Boston again. But before I came to Boston, I already started to practice calligraphy. But at that time, I was not able to find any people surrounding me who have the same hobby, who like the calligraphy just the same as me. But after I came to the Boston area, and because we know this is the city that with the richest history, culture, and all those things in the U.S., and so I immediately quickly met a group of people who share the same hobby, the same love for Chinese calligraphy as me. So we start to form a team, and we practice the calligraphy, and then we learn from each other. We communicate the skill, and also we try to spread this Chinese art. So currently we not only regularly we come together to practice calligraphy, and we also we try to teach other people who want to learn Chinese calligraphy. And so our team from about 10 years ago, only about 10 people, 15 people. So right now we have at least 30 to 40 people who are very actively involved. So if you are interested in learning Chinese calligraphy, you are welcome to contact us to join, and you will realize that's why this is the number one elite art format for Chinese people. And calligraphy using the brush to write on the paper. You can feel the tip of the brush and going through on the paper. You can see the ink going to the paper and spread with the different color, different format, and that can represent your personality, your reflect your mood, your spirit, and so it's really I can say it's an amazing art, and that can always calm me down. And so right now for me, almost every night before I go to bed, I would like to take the brush, write a few words. That's really amazing feeling. So our team is not only as I said, not only is we help each other, we also would like to extend to help others, no matter your cultural background, no matter it's Chinese or from other country, you're welcome to come to join us to feel this unique art format. So I think that's what I can say. So you can come to that corner to see. That's most of them are the bookmarks. Bookmarks our artists, our team member write, and those are mostly some auspicious, lucky, fortune word in Chinese, and also there's some small paintings. So if you can take anyone you like, but and then we recommend if you can donate a few bucks to that cup, that would be wonderful, because we try to use that to organize our event, to try to make our team more visible and make this cultural tradition to can grow in the Boston area. So I think that's what I can say. Yeah, thank you.
All right. I think I've gone through my list. Is anyone who hesitated to share, but after all the story, you can't wait to share your own story? We open the after one. Anyone else? We still have time. Oh, we have an award. Is that right? If anyone come here, you could get an award. There you. Any language. Not necessarily English. Any language, any length. Yeah, come on up. Great, excellent. And you can introduce yourself and share your story.
Thank you. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Wei. I'm the president of Tsinghua Alumni Association at Greater Boston. I guess my name was called maybe before I arrived, so sorry about being late. Okay. Anyways, it is my pleasure to be here and represent our Alumni Association. I'd like to share my story. So I graduated from college and came to Boston for graduate study 13 years ago. I still remember during my first week of school here, I was at a restaurant ordering drinks, and I didn't know the English word for straw, so I asked the waitress for a tube, and she looked at me rather confused. So since then, from language to pop songs to empirical units, there hasn't been a day that passed that I didn't learn something new and different. Sorry, let me refer to my notes. Yeah. However, what amazes me more is how much of the same human experience that we share. Here, we all have had our bikes stolen. We were all shocked at a marathon bombing. We all cheered for the Celtics when they played the games. And we all love and hate the MBTA. But most importantly, we're all welcome here for who we are instead of where we came from. So our Alumni Association was founded in 1976 by an immigrant, the late Dr. Shiying Li, who was a professor emeritus at MIT and a successful entrepreneur. He and his peers wanted to make our alumni feel welcomed and supported when they arrived. So since our founding days, we strive to do the same to sustain their mission. So nowadays, we have over 2,000 members in our association across academia, biotech, information technology, finance, and many more industries. And every year, about
Tsinghua alumni will come to the Greater Boston and join us. So every year we compete in a Dragon Boat Festival, we host speaker series and various events, big and small, to bring our alumni and their friends, bring the whole community together. So, as you can see, we're an organization that consists of immigrants. So it is our pleasure to come here to the Boston Urban Forum to support your mission to engage, empower, and envision for our community. So at some point in life, we're all immigrants, be it in a new neighborhood, in a new school, in a new country, or on an entirely new continent. Life's journey is about moving to new places and seeing the world from different perspectives. So let us celebrate how we're different, yet cherish how much we share in common. Maybe just not the empirical units. I still can't get over how strange they are sometimes. Thank you.